Hey guys, welcome back to the Mutation for Dummies series, and we are on step 4. And step 4 is when we start looking for mutations. So we have our 10 perfect females, and we have our 2 perfect males. And now I have collected 30 eggs from them. But I want to show you guys what to do first in case you don't have an incubator, okay? So what you want to do is go into each of these creatures, or really you just need one because we know that they're all the same, and just write down the 6 pertinent stats right here. That's health, stamina, oxygen, food, weight, and melee. Okay, movement doesn't count. Although movement, they do have points in movement, right? As you can see, they do have points in movement with the awesome spyglass. You can see that. There's 46 points in movement. But their movement will always be 100%, even if they get a mutation, okay? So that doesn't matter. The 6 that you need to worry about are health, stamina, oxygen, food, weight, and melee. Write those down. Put them in a document. Have your base stats somewhere, okay? That's important if you don't have an incubator. In other words, if you're trying to do this before level 89, okay? But if you are after level 89 and you have incubators, then the incubator does all of that work for you. I have 30 eggs here, and we're going to go through them, starting from the left. We're looking for anything that has 417, level 417 or higher, or because you can get a double or triple mutation. If you got a mutation, it'll be 417. If it'll be a double mutation, it'll be 419, and a triple would be 421. We're looking for 417, okay? There's a 417 right there. Now, the next thing we want to look for is the mutation, the 417, the mutation that made it go from 415 to 417. Is it in one of the 2 stats that we are looking to mutate? That being health or melee. Well, we know that our health total is 68 points, and we know that our melee total is 67 points. So we can see from here that the mutation did not go into one of the 2 stats that we're looking for. Now you can look at the egg next to it, which is your base stats, and you can see where the mutation was. So 60, 61, 50, 64, it was in food. Now you can see the food value is 62 here and 64 here. So we know the mutation went into food, okay? That's how we know where it went, which means this egg is no good to us. Next, we just keep looking for more 417s. There's another 417 right here. Now, same thing, we can see that oxygen in our base dinos is 50, and it's 52 here. So we know that that mutation went into oxygen, which means it's not in health or melee. So we can keep moving on. And we keep looking until we get a 417 with a mutation in either health or melee. Here's another 417. This one is also in food. You can see 62 food in our base, 64 in this one. So that's another food mutation that we do not need. Okay? 415, 415, 415, 415. Here's another 417 right here. This one is also an oxygen. 50 points here, 52 here. No good. And here's another 417. And it looks like this time the mutation is in... It's also an oxygen again. So we got 4 mutations, I think, 4 or 5. And none of them are the health or melee that we need. So none of these eggs are any good. So we keep doing this until we find one that is a 417 level 417, with either 70 in health or 69 in melee, okay? And I will come back when we have that dino. So, okay, super lucky, guys. The very next set of eggs, which I just went up to collect, literally yielded us a 417 with a mutation in melee. So you can see if you look at the egg next to it, which is our base, 415, we have 67 points in melee. This one here has 69 points in melee, which means we have just gotten our first mutation. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, well, we'll check the other eggs too, just to be safe. Okay, here's another one that's in, I'm not sure what that's in. It's in stamina. There's another one here that's in stamina. Wow, we're getting a lot of mutations. And the rest of them are no good. So only slot 1 is where we want to keep. The rest of these we're going to crack. And I'm going to try to explain what happens next the best way I know how. So we are quite lucky here in that our first mutation is actually a male. Now, our females that are upstairs, I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. These 10 females that are here will never not be used. Okay, they will always be here. And the only thing we're going to change out is the male. Okay, so we have a perfect male too. And right now, since we just got a male baby with a mutation, I am going to get rid of, or cryo, our perfect male, and we're going to put him up. Okay? I suggest you keep these in a cryo fridge or soul terminal or whatever together. That way you don't lose them, okay? It's really important that you don't lose any of these breeders, okay? Because you might need them again, right? That's why you want to have a fridge like this. Now, or a terminal. Cryo fridge or terminal, or wherever you want to keep them, okay? Now, this baby right here is going to immediately take over as our male breeder. He will have 1 mutation, and he will start breeding with all 10 of those females once he is grown and ready to do so. Now, what happens if the mutation that we got is in a female? Well, you can do one of 2 things in that case. You can either ignore it, which is what I do, because I want the mutation in a male, and eventually I am going to get a mutation in a male baby. We got real lucky to get one right away here. But if this was a 417 female, then I have 2 choices. I can either ignore it and continue looking for a male, or I can take that female, grow it up so it's an adult, and then I would breed that female with the 1 mutation with the perfect male that we started with. We have 2 of them, male 1 and male 2. We could take that female and keep breeding it with a perfect male until we get a male baby with the new mutation, okay? So in other words, what you would want to do, you would take the 417 female with the mutation in melee, and you would breed it with your perfect male who is a level 415. And you will take the first 417 male baby with 1 mutation. Okay? That's what you would do. Until that, this is why I ignore the female mutations, because it's just easier to keep it clean, and you're only going to be able to mate 1 female with 1 male with that, you know, if you find a female with the mutation that you want. It's only going to be a 1-on-1, which means it's going to be 1 egg every however often that your dinosaurs can breed, whatever your server settings are. It's much easier for me to just keep breeding the mutated male with the perfect females until I get a baby male with the next line. So anyway, we got 417 here. This is a 60. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and crack. We're going to hatch that egg. We don't want to crack it. Okay, and one of my soul terminals is going to grab it. So we'll find it. There it is right there. And I'm going to show you how I name these babies as I get them mutated. So what we're going to do is toss them over here in my grow up area. And for this one, let's see here. There it is right there. So for this one, it is going to be a 1 mutation in melee for 69 points. So that's how we're going to name it. We're going to throw it. So it's going to be... Oh, it's going to be 1 mutation in melee. 1 melee and 69 total points. That tells me that I have a mutation in melee, and the total amount of melee points is now 69. Okay, and again, just to show you guys, the current melee now is 531.6 on this baby. Okay, if you do not have awesome spyglass or an incubator, 531.6, and the number we started with was 19, I believe, right? Could you work? Could you work? Hello, could you work? Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll try that again. So you'll notice that our perfect females have the 519.8. So even if you don't have any way of seeing the level stats of your creatures, you can still check their base stats. This one is 519.8, the baby is 531.6. My suggestion to you, though, is if you're doing it that way, you don't have access to the admin blink rifle or awesome spyglass or incubators or anything like that. My suggestion is do not imprint your babies, because you will need to know what your base stat is. In this case, your first mutation in melee has added about 12% in melee. Okay, so yeah, that's how you mutate creatures, and I'll show you what we do next once this baby's grown up. Alright guys, so our first mutated baby has become an adult, and here he is, again, 1 melee, 69. We're going to grab him, and we're going to move him over to a new area I have created for just this line. Okay, so what we have here is our 10 perfect females, numbered 1 through 10. Alright, we're going to hitch them all to the hitching post, and this is 4, 6, 8. So only 8 of them are within target of that. Alright, so let's go get the tech one, and that one should be better, I hope. So if you're wondering what a hitching post is, if you are on vanilla Arc or console Arc and you're not able to get to these mods, it just essentially hitches the dinos to the hitching post, and makes it so the dinos think you're in render the whole time. So basically it allows them to continuously drop eggs even if you're not online. It helps with the automation of what I'm going to show you all next. So in other words, what would happen is if I didn't have the hitching post, it would just pause the dinos whenever I left the server. And then whenever somebody came back within render or I came back onto the server, then it would start up again. The hitching post allows it to essentially continuously make babies. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, good. So we'll hitch them all to the hitching post. And again, this will not matter on single player, because when you leave single player, it automatically pauses anyway. But here we have our first meleeed or first mutated breeder, and I'm just going to toss a saddle on him and make sure that he is in the center here as much as possible. Alright, that'll probably work. And we're also going to hitch him. And now we can essentially start the mating on this guy and then copy it to all the other Rexes. And so now you just want to make sure that everybody is breeding, right? So you want to make sure all 10 of your females are all breeding, or mating, rather. Okay, we're good there. Now, let me show you the automation we're going to use to find dinos for the mutation, okay? Again, if you don't have mods, then you will have to use the incubator, and you're only allowed to have 3 incubators within a certain amount of area. So that means 30 eggs that you can check at a time, okay? And again, the hitching post won't matter in that case because you'll be on vanilla. But for me, I'm going to set up automation. Alright, so these here are from the Dino Storage V2 mod. And this allows us to have soul terminals. And it also has newborn trap automation. So what we do is we hold E over it, go to options and then newborn auto trap, and we're going to enable that. And I'm going to turn the rage down just a bit, just because we only want it to pick up the Rex babies here, okay? So there we are. We just want to make sure that it's only going to pick up from this area here. And of course, you're going to have 300 soul traps in here because that's the most that it can hold. And I will explain what this means in a minute. We're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to turn down the range just a little bit. And we don't need the visible on that. And we're going to turn visible off on this one as well. Alright? So there we go. We have both of these working. And what's going to happen is I just need to see if these eggs are going to incubate or not. Okay, so the egg health is going down, so those eggs are spoiling. So we have to make sure that they can incubate. Alright? So what we're going to do is make a few air conditioners. Alright. Let me take off GCM because I don't want to cheat. There we go. Alright, so we're just going to make a few air conditioners, probably like, I'll probably put in 7. Okay. And I have, holy crap, those are heavy. Okay, let's put GCM back on so we're not heavy. There we go. Okay. So now we should just place the ACs somewhere around here. I have tech generators placed pretty what do you call it? Widespread around the base. Basically, we're just gonna put these ACs like in the middle of these. Alright, so that way, hopefully they will incubate the eggs. Alright, so now we check the eggs again, and now they're incubating. Okay, perfect. So let's make sure all of them are incubating. Definitely incubating. Definitely incubating. Definitely incubating. Good. 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 Oh. Good. Good. Alright, so everybody's doing well. So if you have more, essentially what you could do if you wanted to double, triple, quadruple your chances is just make more males, more females rather. So you can have 30, 40 females, 50 females, and then just have a male for each one of those. Okay, and then, yeah, you just keep doing that, and that'll increase your chances. But basically what we're looking for now is we have all 10 of these females that are completely base. They have no mutations in them. If my buttons would work. Okay, we'll do that again. So, they have no mutations in them on either side. So they're completely base. 0 out of 0 on both sides. And there's 10 of them that are identical. And then the male is our 1 melee 69. Right, so he's got 1 melee mutation. So now what we're looking for with this next generation is we're looking for a 419, a level 419 baby, male, with either a health or a melee mutation, one of the two. And then we just keep doing that. Once we find a second one, a second mutation, we would replace this male. And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward until that happens. All right, so it didn't take too long, about 30 eggs for it to happen. As you can see, we have nothing here, 4 17s and 4 15s, right? So we're just going to destroy all of those. But then over here, we've got a 419 male health mutation. Booyah, there's number 2. Number 2, and I'm going to try to explain how this works. You will see that the +2 is in health in the middle of your screen. +2 is in health. Okay, and before we start this, I kind of want to explain a little bit of how mutations work. So you'll look at our 417 melee mutation, and that mutation is on the dad's side. Now, every single time you get a mutation, there's a 50-50 chance of it being on the male side or the female side. Okay? But once all the mutations are together, in other words, for example, let's take this one out of here. I'm going to try to explain. We'll take this one out of here, and we'll destroy the rest of them just to make sure everybody's good. And then we can take the 417 male who's just been replaced by a baby. We can take him out of there. And then I'm going to try to explain how this works. So, like I said, every single mutation you get is a 50-50 chance of being from the mom and a 50-50 chance of being from the dad. Okay? So let's look at this again. Here is our baby right here. It's got one H70 and one M69 now. So we have 2 mutations. One in health, one in melee. I'm going to show you how I label that in the name of the creature. Once we have the right creature in our hands. So I always go with health first. So it's going to be one H70 and one M69. Okay? And then we're going to look into the creature. And you will see that this mutation came from the mom. Right, so there it is right there. It came from the mom this time. But the next mutation, the next generation, when this one here becomes a dad or an adult and then becomes my breeder, he is going to have one of 20 on each side. But the next baby he gives birth to, the first 2 mutations that are already in, that's the one in health and the one in melee, are both going to be on the dad's side because they're both on this dad right here. And then the third mutation has a 50-50 chance of being from the mom or the dad. So the next mutation could be a 3 out of 20 on the dads, or a 2 out of 20 on the dads and a 1 out of 20 on the moms. But you got to remember that every prior generational mutation is always going to be on the dad's side. That is really important. Okay, so in other words, I can't show you now with this one, but you will see it's 1 out of 1 on each side. Again, I will show you 1 out of 20 on each side right here. Okay, again, the next baby is guaranteed to have 2 out of 20 on the dad's side because both of these mutations are on this male. And then the new mutation will be on the next baby, the next generation. And I will fast forward to when we have the third mutation so I can show you. Alright guys, so welcome back. We have our third mutation on a male right here in front of us. We got another melee mutation, which is 71 points now. But I kind of wanted to show you, because where we left off before, we had 2 on the prior baby. In this generation, I told you we were guaranteed of having at least 2 mutations on the patrilineal side, with a 50-50 chance of there being a third, okay? So here we see that we have all 3 of the mutations on the patrilineal or dad's side. 2 of those are generational mutations that came from prior generations. The third was the 50-50 chance between a male and a female. This case, it came from the male. If it would have came from the female, then it would have said 1 out of 20 on the matrilineal side. So that's how we have this baby with 3 out of 20. The next baby in the 4th generation is also going to have at least 3 out of 20 on the patrilineal and possibly a 50-50 chance of having 1 out of 20 on matrilineal or 4 out of 20 on patrilineal. That's how it works every single generation. Now, you will see over here in my collection that I am collecting babies, and we're looking for 421s. Now, we've already found our melee mutation right here, right? We've already got our third one right there. But I wanted to show you some possibilities while you're searching. Okay, again, I'm using soul terminals to collect babies. If you're using the hatchery, that's fine, or the incubators, that's fine. Any way that you are collecting them, that's fine. But essentially, we're looking for 421. So all of these are bad, except for this one, which is a 421. Once we find our next level, which again is 421, you get 2 levels for every new mutation. Okay. Now we're looking for the +2 to be either in melee or health. Okay. So we know currently that we're at 70 health, 69 melee. So even if you're using a hatchery or an incubator, you should already know what your stats are and what you're looking for. In this case, our +2 came in stamina. So we're not interested in that egg or baby at all. We got a mutation, but it's in stamina, and we're not looking for stamina. Okay? We look in the next one, and you will see, again, we're no changes in our females, but we did get 2 421 males. Okay? The first one is another stamina mutation, and the second one is an oxygen mutation. So both of those are not in the health or melee. So that's where we're at. We don't need any of these, so we can just get rid of all of these, right? They're no good. They're not going to extend our line whatsoever. So the good news is we did get our 3rd generation male right here, and that means we can replace the 2nd generation male as our breeder right now. And that's a 421, a level 421 male. So the next 4th generation, we will be looking for 423. Now there is a very, very minute chance that you could get a double or even a triple mutation. Okay, I've had a triple mutation once, and double mutations are more common than you would think. But the only time that you are going to keep a double mutation is if you are extremely lucky and they both are in one of the 2 stats that you're looking for, which is health and melee. You can get a +4 in either one, or you can get a +2 in each. I've never had that happen in 5 years of mating in this game. Okay, so there we go. We've got that one mating again. We're going to wait for our 4th generation, and that's going to end this portion of the mutations for dummies. The next step that I want to show you is what happens when we get to 20 out of 20 on the patrilineal side. So that's going to be our next video. I hope you stick around, maybe subscribe to the channel to get more content in the future, and I will catch you down the road.